First English test. B2 level. Speaking test. Duration 14 minutes. The speaking test has 4 parts, which focus on different types of interaction. There are 2 examiners, and usually 2 candidates take the exam together. Part 1. Interview. In Part 1, candidates answer the examiner's questions, giving basic personal information and opinions.
Good morning. My name's Jessica Smith and this is my colleague Sandra Regan. She's just going to listen to us. Now, what's your name?
I'm Elisabetta.
Thank you. And your name?
Francesco.
Where are you from, Francesco?
I'm from Italy. More precisely, I came from Bologna.
Thank you. And you?
Me too, I'm from Bologna.
So first we'd like to know something about you. Elisabetta, do you have any plans for next weekend?
Yes, I'm going to a party on Saturday night with my friends.
And Francesco, have you ever taken part in a competition?
Yes, I play golf since I was a child, and so I take part to a competition almost every weekend. Yeah.
Thank you. Elisabetta, have you been to the cinema recently?
Not recently. I don't really like going to cinema.
Why not?
I prefer watching TV at my home, also watching films on DVD.
And do you prefer to see films at the cinema or on DVD?
I personally prefer watch at home, yeah, so on DVD.
Why?
Because it's more comfortable and I can stop whenever I want, and so, yeah.
What do you hope to do when you finish studying?
I'm still deciding, but I think I will enjoy join the university and the economy section. Yeah.
And Elisabetta, is there anywhere new you'd like to visit?
I would like to go to Berlin this summer, maybe on an interrail with my friends.
Thank you.
Part 2. Long turn. In Part 2, candidates talk on their own about 2 pictures. They should compare them and answer a question about them.
Now, in this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 2 pictures. I'd like you to talk about your pictures on your own for about a minute and also to answer a brief question about your partner's pictures. Elisabetta, it's your turn first. Here are your pictures. They show people on holiday. I'd like you to compare the pictures and say why you think the people chose to go on holiday to those places, all right?
Okay, in the first picture we see 2 people, a mother with probably her daughter. They are next to a lake. It's a sunny day and they're looking into a map, maybe the street to go, to follow. And while in the second picture we have another family with a mother with 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. It's a sunny day there too, and they're just walking into the street. I think in the first picture the 2 have chosen to go to a lake to relax and have a good time, and the same for the second family, maybe they just want to relax. And yes, maybe this is a vacation in the first picture, and the second.
Thank you. Now, Francesco, who do you think is enjoying the holiday the most?
I think that in the second picture, I can see the mother who is have fun. She's having fun, and so I think that also the children are having fun, and so the second picture.
Thank you. Now, here are your pictures, and they show people at work. I'd like you to compare the pictures and say how difficult you think it is to do these jobs. All right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. In the first picture, we can see a teacher, an elementary class, and it might be difficult because of the children. They are small, and so they are young, and so the attention maybe isn't very high. while in the second picture I can see a doctor. It may be a psychologist, or I don't know. And yeah, it's difficult because of the scientific world, and maybe the patient hasn't got a real clear illness, and yeah. While in the first picture, the teacher, she's
Thank you. Elisabetta, which of these jobs would you prefer to do?
I would prefer the second one because I really like scientific, like maths, science, even though I would have to study a lot of years to become a doctor.
Thank you.
Part 3. Collaborative task. In Part 3, candidates are given a written stimulus with a question and some ideas for discussion. They should discuss the question together and then negotiate towards a decision.
Now I'd like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes. I'd like you to imagine that a school wants to organise some after-school activities to help students improve their English. Here are some of the different activities they're thinking about and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. Now, talk together about how these ideas might help the students to improve their English.
Shall I start?
Yes.
I think that watching film in English might help the students to improve their English because of the speaking part. You can listen to the film, and maybe with the subtitles, and it can helps you to the listening and comprehension skill. While, what do you think about the conversation classes?
I think also the conversation classes can help students with their part of the language. They can learn vocabulary from each other, and maybe also with a teacher that can help them with the pronunciation. And what do you think of book club?
Book club? Yeah, if you read in English, you can learn more vocabularies, and so it's very useful. But
Yes.
I don't think so for the visit to local area with English speaking guide. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you because I think that when you are in a country, you have to learn or maybe know something about the country in the language of the country, not only in English. And what about the use of internet to projects?
But yeah, it might be useful because if you use the internet in English and you search in the language, it might be useful because of the vocabularies, and it can makes you more interested in the work, and so
Yes, you can improve your language, your pronunciation also.
Thank you. Now you have about a minute to decide which 2 activities would be the most successful.
In my opinion, the most successful would be the conversation classes, in which people can really understand what its level is, and maybe, as I said, with a teacher that can help you.
yeah, I completely agree. And also maybe the second one, the watching film in English, because you can really listen to native speaker, and so it can help you to improve the English the most.
Yes, and know more vocabulary
Yeah.
and the pronunciation of the words. So yes, watching film and conversation
And
classes are the most useful.
Thank you.
Part 4. Discussion. In Part 4, the examiner asks questions related to the topic in Part 3, and the candidates answer them.
Would you like to try any of these activities?
I really like watching films in English in my free times. I usually do it.
Why?
So, because when I watch a film once, then I remember some of the words and the situation, and then I watch it in English so I can compare the two languages and know more vocabulary.
And you?
Yes, I often watch TV series in English with the subtitles, and it helps me to improve my listening comprehension skill. And yeah.
Francesco, do you think it's possible to learn a language without a teacher?
It's a good question. I think that for the first time when you approach the language, it's important having a teacher because of the grammar. I think that you can really learn the language without the grammar, and I think that grammar is difficult, so you need a teacher.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. You need someone that corrects you when you make a mistake, maybe, and help with the pronunciation, maybe.
Some people say you can't learn about the culture of a country without knowing the language. What do you think?
I agree with this statement because I think that the language of a country makes part of the tradition of this country. So if you want to know something about the culture, you mean the tradition, and the language is very important because it brings the country to what it is now.
What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that if you know the language of the country, you can go more into the culture of that country.
In the future, do you think there will be one world language?
I don't think so. I think that maybe there will be, as now, a common international language that everyone could use, but our common world language, no, because you will lose as I said before, the culture of the singular countries.
What do you think?
Yes, I agree with Francesco. And also, I think English would still be really important, but maybe other languages such as Japanese or Russian, Spanish will be as important maybe as English.
Well, thank you both very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Grammar and vocabulary. Both candidates perform well throughout the test.
And it might be difficult because of the children. They are.
In my opinion, the most successful would be the conversation. I agree with this statement because I think the tradition of this country.
Occasionally, they make some mistakes.
I'm still deciding, but I think I will enjoy join the university. And I play golf since I was a child, and so
It's a sunny day, and they're looking into a map. Maybe you need someone that corrects you.
In order to get a higher mark, they could use a wider range of vocabulary and grammar. Discourse management. Elisabetta's Part 1 answers could be a little more extended. It would be better to add at least one more phrase.
Yes, I'm going to a party on Saturday night with my friends.
She gives good, extended answers in Part 4.
Because when I watch a film once, then I remember some of the words and the situation, and then I watch it in English so I can compare the two languages and know more vocabulary.
Francesco usually gives extended answers, but the examiner also has to ask why he likes watching films on DVD.
I often watch TV series in English with the subtitles, and it helps me to improve my listening comprehension skill.
Pronunciation. Generally, both have good pronunciation, but need to improve weak forms.
I can see a doctor. It may be a psychologist, or I don't know.
Elisabetta has good individual sounds, but sometimes has an intrusive
Yes, I agree with Francesco. And also, I think English would still be really important, but maybe other languages such as Japanese or Russian, Spanish will be as important maybe as English.
Interactive communication. Both candidates use appropriate questions and answers to interact well together.
Shall I start?
Yes.
I think that. What do you think about the conversation classes?
And what do you think of book club?
Book club? What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you because
Elisabetta, in part 4, gives extended answers and also adds another idea when referring to the other languages which may become important.
yes, I agree with Francesco. And also, I think English would still be really important, but maybe other languages such as Japanese or Russian, Spanish will be as important maybe as English.
Francesco interacts with ease throughout the test. Global achievement. Overall, both candidates handled the communication throughout the test. They were able to answer all the questions appropriately and with a good degree of accuracy. To improve performance, they could have speculated a little more and given slightly longer answers generally, and tried to use a little more complex grammar and a wider range of vocabulary.